What is up? This is Sharif, aka Alpha Flex, and welcome to episode 2 of Powerlifting Explained. And this is basically just a series I'm making once a week to basically go over a topic in powerlifting, just to explain the entire sport as a whole for beginners, starting from the most basic thing to the most advanced thing. So if you didn't see last week's episode, check out last week's episode. Alright, today I'm going to go over the different kinds of divisions and events that you can do within powerlifting, and I'm going to talk about like the differences between what events each federation does, but I'm not going to specifically go over each federation. I'm just going to give you guys the knowledge that you need to be able to choose for yourself what federation you want to compete in. I'm doing that just because I prefer to leave my opinion out of it, and I'd like everyone to be able to make their own informed decision. I don't want to push anything on anybody else just because I'm doing it. All right, so the first thing we're going to need to talk about is drug testing within federations. So certain federations are drug tested and other federations are untested. And when I'm talking about drugs, I'm not talking about meth or anything like that. I'm talking about steroids, anabolic steroids, stuff like that. And each federation, like if it's tested, they're going to have a list of things. Usually they're going to have a list of things that you can and cannot take while competing in that federation. There's a whole moral aspect that goes into it, but I'm not going to get into that. That's completely up to you. But bottom line is, if you do choose to compete in a drug tested federation, just remember that drug tested is drug tested. It is not drug free. But at the same time, just because someone is stronger than you within that federation, I don't think that gives you a reason to use the excuse of, oh, well, they're probably on drugs. Okay, so there are international federations, which means that when you compete in that federation, you are competing against other members of that federation throughout the entire world, or just throughout whatever countries they're in internationally. And then there are also federations that are just specific to a certain country. Since most international federations can cover a lot of different countries, a lot of times they'll have a big federation name and then they'll have other federations under it that are specific to each country. For example, if you are in the United States and you compete in the USAPL, and you have a friend that lives in Canada and they compete in the Canadian Powerlifting Union, if you both make it far enough to compete at the World Meet, you'll be competing next to each other at IPF Worlds, because the IPF is the big federation, and then the sub-federation would be the USAPL or the Canadian Powerlifting Union, or whatever it is for your country. Okay, so many federations are going to have different age groups involved in their competition. So generally, most federations are going to have a junior division, and the junior division is going to be broken up between, like, I think most of them are going to start at like 13 years old, and then the oldest one being 23 years old for most federations, and then those are going to kind of be broken up like every few years. So when I last competed, I competed as a junior, 20 to 23, and I think the age group beneath that one was 18 to 19, and then it goes so on down further. Then after that, there is the master division, which is most of them is like over 40 or 45 or something like that, and then it goes up to, you know, however old you get after that, and it's the same thing. Like, it's broken up between like 3 to 5 year gaps for each one. The main division is going to be the open, and the open is basically any age. Like, if you compete in the open, you're going to be any age, and you'll just compete within your weight class, and you're just judged against everyone else no matter how old they are. If you sign up for a meet, you can actually sign up to compete in the open and in a different age group as well. Like, I've seen people win the open and their age group, and then they'll get 2 awards for winning that, and then like they might be able to break the open record, and then they might also be able to break the junior record or the master record for whatever it is. All right, each federation will have different versions of powerlifting that you can compete in, and it breaks out into 2 different things. It's either raw or it's equipped. And there's different versions of raw and there's different versions of equipped depending on what federation you're competing in. Raw is basically minimal equipment to use to lift the weight. So if you lift the weight, it's 100% you. You have no assistance with you. Many federations only allow knee sleeves, but there's another version of raw that I've seen it called classic raw, and I've also seen it called raw with wraps, where when you do your squat, you can wear knee wraps, which do add a decent amount of weight to your squat. Okay, so the next one is equipped lifting. And when I'm talking about equipped lifting, I'm not talking about steroid usage while lifting. I'm talking about the clothes that you're wearing while you're lifting. If you're competing raw, the only thing you're going to be able to wear is a singlet. And that's just basically like cloth. It's like just like this t-shirt, but it's just like a one suit. When you're competing equipped, then you're going to either be competing in single ply or multiply. And the level of ply refers to the amount of layers that the fabric has that's going to assist you in your lift. And if you're competing in equipped lifting, you're going to be able to wear a bench shirt, a squat suit, or a deadlift suit. And then sometimes you're allowed to wear briefs also, but basically like all those things together, they're just going to help you lift more weight. Right now, raw is a lot more popular, quite simply because it's cheaper. You don't have to buy extra equipment to compete in raw. Most people usually train raw in the gym anyway. And chances are, if you're watching this video, you're most likely new to powerlifting, so you're probably not going to want to compete in equipped lifting at your first meet, just because of all of the extra stuff you have to get, all of the extra training you have to do, getting used to your suit, practicing in it, and then learning all of that stuff. It almost makes it almost a new sport. Make sure you're choosing the federation that actually allows the kind of powerlifting that you want to do. Many federations are completely different, and they'll only allow a certain kind of division to compete under their federation. So since I was talking about the IPF earlier, I'll use them for example again. They have no knee wrap version of raw. And on top of that, they also don't have a multiply division. They only have a single ply division. All right, on top of that, you don't always have to compete in all three lifts. Many federations will allow you to break it up. So you can go to a meet and compete in the bench and the deadlift, or just the deadlift, or just the bench, etc. And it could be, really the combinations could be endless based on whatever federation you're competing in. Okay, so now that I've generally gone through every category you're going to need to generally know about to be able to pick what federation you want to compete in, I'm going to leave a link in the description to powerliftingwatch.com. And on the page that I linked, it has a list of every federation, at least that I know about, and it has the criteria for each one. So it has like what kind of raw they have, what kind of equip they have, what age groups they have, what kind of single ply suit you can wear, what kind of multiply suit you can wear, and then you can basically choose which one you want to do from there, or like at least narrow it down, and then do more research on it just to see what you truly want to do. So I hope I gave you guys all the tools you need. If you learned something from this video, please share it so that other people can learn from it as well. And then subscribe for next week, because next week I'm going to talk about programming and what kind of program you kind of want to look for getting prepared for your first meet. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep on flexing. Let's get stronger. See you in the next video.
This is a Ryan Little production.
I could have had it.